Sure. Here we are. All right, we tapping in. What's up, everybody? It's the one and only Master Mycellf. We're here live, tapping in. Another day, another moment in time. We're gonna get started shortly. So, the Blood Luna on the track, tapping in again. We're talking about what it takes to build a brand, right? That's somebody brand for sure. Jesus Christ. How to develop your brand, how to build your brand, all that good shit. We're gonna talk about it tonight. Tapping in, leveling up. It's a pleasure and honor to be with you again. This is the one and only Master Mycellf, and this is the Master Table. We'll get started shortly. Salute to everybody. Remember the name. It is Jacob. You understand? All right. Salute to everybody once again. It's the one and only Master Mycellf. I'm here live tapping in from IMC Base 5. It's a pleasure and honor to be with you again. What we're talking about tonight is how to develop your brand. All right. But first and foremost, let's go through the rules. Know and understand that everything that I do and say here is done under the banner of entertainment. All right. So don't take what I say seriously. Number two, this is for adults and adults only. No kids in the room. If there are kids in the room, remove them from the room. Or put the earphones in. You know what I'm saying? Because what I say may be explicit, so you've been warned. Number three, do not break the laws of the land that you're tuning in for. Unless those laws are oppressing you, then you, of course, have the right to fight back. Number four, you're an adult, and as an adult, that means you're responsible for your own actions, all right? So act accordingly. And number five, I go by the name Master Mycellf, and this here is the Master's Table. It's a pleasure and honor to be with you again. Once again, tonight we're talking about how to develop your brand, what it's going to take for you to really take your identity, because normally a brand represents an identity, right? What do you do to take that to a next level or to the next level, right? So we're going to talk about that tonight. And we just talk about some aspects of what I've learned over the years, you know what I'm saying, really tapping in and fine tuning this thing called a brand. You know, I go by the name Master Mycellf, and I have the brand of the Master's Table, and then so on and so forth. You know what I'm saying? Like affirmation, so on and so forth. Like we can go down the line of details. You know what I'm saying, as to what is representing me as a brand, quote unquote. But we're gonna talk about the details of like how you can set up your own brand and essentially, launch your own style, and really what's the significance of it? What's the purpose of that? So you know what I'm saying. We're gonna talk about that again tonight. Now, first and foremost, before I go ahead and get started, I want to say Jai Guru Dev, which is, you know what I'm saying, a salutation to the masters, or Master AZD, who is, our mentor within IC Nation, the founder of IC Nation. We give credit and condolences, not condolences, but we give credit and respect, you know what I'm saying, to AZD first and foremost while I'm here. And then, we'll proceed from there. One thing that I've learned, over these last literally 4 years, you know what I'm saying, since I started doing, this process, living this lifestyle and so on and so forth, has been the ability to really identify, where I'm at in terms of my storyline in life, if you will. A major piece to the evolution as a brand or as a character, or as a let's say you have a company, you got a business, whatever the case may be. is how you identify or how you locate, right? This brand, this identity. You know what I'm saying? Now, how do we normally locate, something or somebody? Well, if you think about any kind of famous brand, you can think about McDonald's, you can think about Target, you can think about Starbucks, you can think about, you know what I'm saying, any of these, high level brands, if you will, YSL, Prada, you know what I'm saying, Gucci, of course, Dolce & Gabbana. So you have this array of brands, if you will, that each one of those that I just mentioned, has a story that parallels the identity, right? The identity is the outside perception, right? Or the outside perception, right? The way that things are being perceived and identified, per that specific brand. So, with that specific brand, like for example, McDonald's, it has a certain story, right? Um, Starbucks, same thing. They have a certain story, and it's that story that gives that brand life. You know what I'm saying? You are now able to identify, a company or a specific set of people. Like, but anytime I say, Apple, for example, who's the first person that comes to mind? Well, Steve Jobs, right? Because that's somebody that was able to convey his ideas, and even though he didn't necessarily invent specifically the technology of Apple, he's the one that was able to convey his ideas, communicate his ideas, and essentially be recognized for those ideas that he once at one point in time, so, kind of set upon and then identified and then moved forward with. You know what I'm saying? So with that being understood, what is a story, right, that is associated with your brand? If you personally were a brand, what is one story, right, that helps you to identify, like, yo, this is my brand, this is what I'm about, this is what it is that represents me, so on and so forth, right? So, for example, Wendy's, right? Now, this is of course a famous brand. What's going on? What's up?
Same question.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, where does one begin to find, like, to form a brand of yourself? Like, where do you start?
With the story. That's what I'm getting at. You know what I'm saying? So you look towards your own history, your own storyline, if you will, and you can say, okay, this is like where my brand began. Like, for example, for myself, I was going to go into Wendy's. You know what I'm saying? Because that's like, um, well, anyways, it's a little. I'll just go into it briefly, and I'll transition to mine, if you will. But I remember driving around Florida and hearing about, like, yo, this is the. I think it was my uncle that was driving us around or whatever, and he was like, this is the original birthplace of Wendy's. You know what I'm saying? And I remember like, literally driving around, and I remember them pointing out her house, and what I'm saying, like, talking about like the storyline of like how Wendy's became a thing was like a girl named Wendy, you know what I'm saying, her dad, you know what I'm saying, essentially started off this brand and named it after his daughter, you know what I'm saying, and then there's certain characteristics, so on and so forth, that's around that. So for me, just the ideal of Wendy's, I can think about being in Florida. That I remember the day was an overcast day. You know what I'm saying? I was driving, or I wasn't driving, but I was, what I'm saying, riding in the back, if you will. And I remember seeing the house, from the side of the road. And for me, all of that is associated with Wendy's. Whereas somebody else may not know that story, you know what I'm saying, or not know anything about that connection to Wendy's, right? And because they don't, they will have some kind of other association. Maybe it's a commercial, maybe it's something else, whatever. So um, it's that person's experience with that brand, but then it's also connected to some kind of story. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know the full extent of their story, whatever, but yeah, that's what I know. But
can you make the story up? Can it be anything?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Ideally, it's a real story. You know what I'm saying? That you're moving with. But yeah, so yeah, there's a certain story that represents you. Like I think about the story of when I think about Master Mycellf in general, like as a brand, if you will, think about the story of the master. You know what I'm saying, and the student, if you will. that the student is wanting and seeking to learn from the master, right? And so he's doing the work of going to the master and saying, Master, I want to learn from you, and the master's like, okay, well, have you emptied your cup? You know what I'm saying? And the master or the student is like, yes, master, I'm ready to learn, so on and so forth. So the next day the master says, okay, just meet me on the beach at 7 a.m. Okay, cool. The student shows up, and the student's ready, and shows up at 7 a.m. and so on and so forth. And the master's there, sitting down with a teapot and over the fire and so on and so forth, and he's preparing. So he's already there. The student shows up, so on and so forth, and the student is so eager to learn that he shows up, master, I've been waiting, and I woke up early, I got here on time, so on and so forth. And the master looks at him and says, would you like some tea? Right. And so the master, what I'm saying, the student's like, yeah, master, yeah, but I really want to get started. I want to learn, I'm here to learn from you and so on and so forth. And so excited, so eager to get started. Um, that he's just talking, talking, and talking. It's like, okay, master, where do we start? So on and so forth. Master's not saying anything. He's simply, pouring the tea. He's letting the student talk. The student's talking, going on and on. I want to learn this. I want to learn that. So on and so forth. Meanwhile, master's pouring the tea, right? And so the master's pouring the tea's, filling up in the cup, and it's going up and up, and the students just keep talking. And he keeps talking and talking and talking. Eventually, the student realizes the master's not done, pouring the tea, right? And so the tea continues to fill up in the cup, and it starts to overflow. And eventually, the student's like, "Hey, master, the cup is full." And the master says, "Yes, exactly." He's like, "Just waiting for you to say something, because the moment that you recognize that you, like this cup, are full of knowledge, you can't have any room for anything else." You know what I'm saying? So with that understanding, that comes the interpretation of you have to empty your cup in order to be able to receive something new. In order to be a true vessel, you have to empty that cup so that you can, take on new knowledge, new insight, and new information, right? So that's one story that was rough, you know what I'm saying, but we got to the point in the sense of that's the objective, is to know and understand, like, this is a story that I can say is a testament to me as a character, or to my brand, if you will, right? And so I can practice delivering that story. I can practice, putting that story out. But that's something that goes and parallels, my understanding, of what it means to be a master. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I would answer that. I don't know if it makes sense, but it's a long story. So, you know what I'm saying? Thank you for the question also. But so that's the beginning, right? Kind of identifying your own personal journey, right? Recognizing, like, yo, this is the journey that I'm on. This is where things got started. Like, for me as Master Mycellf, once again, as the brand, uh, I got started the moment that I declared that, like, yo, I'm not gonna be living this normal life. So I'm going to, stop, laying on the bed. You know what I'm saying? For example, I'm gonna not have a process. Like, every single day, I started to develop and live off of a daily process, meaning that every single day I was gonna spend my time working on me, developing myself to the point of to where I can be on camera. You know what I'm saying? As you see me now, speaking fluently. You know what I'm saying? Being able to convey my ideals and philosophy. Like, at some point, I wasn't able to do that, or I wasn't able to do this, what I'm doing right now. You know what I'm saying? So that's part of my journey. And some of the challenges that I've come across, you know what I'm saying, with, even encountering, different situations, circumstances where somebody will recognize me as Master Mycellf, and, there's almost like challenge, or opportunity, right, for me to either convey myself as a master, or to pretend like I'm only the name I was given at birth. Like, no, my creation, you know what I'm saying, my brand, my development has been Master Mycellf. So with that comes these challenges, these turning points, and these moments of true self-discovery that I've been acquiring all throughout this process. And so that's really the first step, is to identifying or developing your brand, is to identify your personal journey and kind of associate that with your brand, right? Uh, the next one would be just really the philosophy, right? So I have several sayings. One of my favorite sayings to say within the context of who I am as Master Mycellf is, my mind is my temple. I am master of myself, right? So that's a phrase, a philosophy, it's an indicator of how my mind is, like where you can locate my mind. If I'm thinking that my mind is my temple, well, the temple for me is a very sacred space, right? And so I'm aware that my sacred space is inside. Like I tap into that inner space. In fact, every time that we do the meditative moment here on the master's table, that is a conscious creation of mine. Like I'm tapping into that sacred space. So when I say my mind is my temple, I am master of myself. I am master of what's going on with me. And there's really ultimately no other responsibility that I have in this life, right? So that's that. That's number two. So yeah, the foundation of a successful brand is to know and understand what it is that serves as your philosophy. Self mastery. You know, what I'm saying self development, self evolution, if you will, or aspects of who and what it is that we represent as masters. You know, what I'm saying here at the master's table. As master myself, that's my philosophy, if you will, right? So to build a brand, essentially, you're gonna, identify what's your personal storyline. Like, where are you? How do you identify uh, yourself as a brand, if you will? And then, how does that connect to your story, your timeline in life, right? And then you can identify the philosophy that has either carried you through to where it is that you are, or once again, if you look at any of these brands, I mean, Nike, for example, what is their philosophy? What is their brand philosophy? Just do it, right? That's it could be a slogan, it could be something, but it's a philosophy essentially, right? And a business with a strong philosophy is a business that is going to stick around for quite some time because the philosophies are essentially just it's like a way to locate the heart of this business or this company or this person, this idea, once again, um right? So on and so forth. I mean, I'm thinking about different brands. I'm thinking about Apple, I'm thinking about Microsoft, thinking about fucking even like Blue Bunny, like ice cream or whatever. Like all of these are gonna have specific stories, specific images that are in our mind that allow us to really travel and go, what I'm saying, there with that company or that ideal, if you will, right? So that's that. So what are some practical steps, what I'm saying, that you can start to take in the sense of, how to build your brand? Um, you first want to identify, what is your areas of expertise, if you will, right? One of my expertises, if you will, is the martial arts, if you will. So I can speak from that standpoint. That's definitely like discipline is one of my core values and core beliefs, right? That I operate from. And when I can identify that that's my niche, that's my the audience who I'm talking to, in terms of the values that I'm delivering, um, then I can really harness on and kind of focus and zero in on what is it that I'm connecting to, what I'm saying, within other people. Like if I'm talking about my lifestyle, like living, saying a monk life, if you will, sleeping on the ground, taking cold showers, waking up every day at a certain time, living off a daily schedule, having a purpose, a plan, studying stoicism, studying whatever it is I'm studying, just having a fascination with myself in that sense. All of that these are aspects of me, speaking and creating, this unique audience, I'm saying, who also is fascinated with, these details, I'm saying? So what are some kind of challenges that I think a lot of people face when it comes to identifying a brand? Let's say that I was an artist, and whoever want to hear it is an artist, right? One of the main issues that I think a lot of people come into when they're starting to identify their brand or they're developing themselves, whatever the case may be, it's truly putting your voice out and associating your voice with your storyline. You know what I'm saying? Yourself as a character. Once again, um, this is it's a skill that it goes unmeasured until you start to do it. So you start to truly identify, like, okay, what is it that makes me unique? What is it that I have within me when it comes to my voice, my story, my timeline of experience? Like, what is it that I have within me that is so unique in comparison to anybody else? Well, the truth of that expression, comes out when you start to express yourself, when you start to create videos, you know what I'm saying, or some kind of writings or some kind of product, or you're putting out, whatever your art is, whatever your form of expression is. When you're doing that on a consistent basis, uh, you're going to be able to identify, like, yo, these are like the struggle of putting out content. For example, like when I first got started on YouTube, it took me, man, I think it was like the very first video I ever made on YouTube. I believe it was it's like a 17-minute video, and I remember sitting down and struggling to find the courage, you know what I'm saying, first of all, to just sit down and be in front of the camera and authentically speak and communicate my ideas and concepts without filtering, so on and so forth. Now, I can tell you that process isn't easy, but it's easier now than it has ever been because of the fact that I got started back then. You get what I'm saying? So the challenges of finding your voice and truly, fine tuning, what I'm saying, harnessing the power that you have as a creative being, to use your unique voice, to express yourself in a certain way and do it at a certain time, if you will. It takes courage. It's not easy, you know what I'm saying? But that's, once again, that's one of my aspects of myself as a brand. It's the courage to show up and to show out, if you will, or to not let anything stop you from creating. Right? Like, man, I have a whole world of reasons why I don't want to come here and go live and so on and so forth, but I'm here. You know what I'm saying? I show up over and over and over again. I've been doing this for almost 3 years now. You know what I'm saying? Creating at the level that we're creating. So every single Monday, it's a reset. It's a reconnection to, the process of mastering myself, mastering my mind, my spirit, my development, my consciousness, um, my speech, my ability to articulate my ideals and whatnot. Like, all of this is apparent, and it's evident that, it's not a skill that is acquired overnight. So that's why when you do meet somebody that can speak and be on camera and hold themselves, you know what I'm saying, carry themselves and be able to articulate their ideals and concepts, you know what I'm saying, through the words in which they're using. Now you're going to meet somebody that is worth meeting, or somebody that's worth exchanging with, because the skill of communication is truly a skill, something that you build over time. Some people are gifted. Some people have that connection in their life already, but a lot of people aren't. You know what I'm saying? So to be able to identify that and to speak from that, from the challenges and the tribulations that you go through, it gives you a different level of power. You know what I'm saying? So that's that. And then I had notes here, so I was just going off of those. But you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna just go ahead and end off of that. Any other questions or yeah, I mean, I don't know how clear I am in terms of delivering what it is you're gonna need to really build your brand. Aside from knowing that you have a story, knowing that you have some kind of personal connection, you know what I'm saying, to that storyline, and what are the three values. That's where I'll end. You know what I'm saying, off of right now, because that's the main piece that I'm understanding. There are certain values that you live off of. Like I said, for me, one of mine is discipline. You know what I'm saying? As a master of myself, my one of my main core values in life is my discipline, right? So what does that look like? Well, like I said, waking up at a certain time, dedicating my time and energy and focus into having a process. So every single day meditate, every single day praying, every single day reading, every single day taking time to breathe, taking time to refocus and reset myself. Like, that's a set of discipline, or a set of practices that I have that are a testament to the value of discipline, right? Persistence, right, is another value of mine. Persistence, the ability to proceed or persist, right, to go beyond what's there's a concept by Napoleon Hill that he says going the extra mile, right? So what is going the extra mile? What's going above and beyond what's expected of you, or not even what's expected of you, but what's asked of you, right? Uh, to go the extra mile in the sense of communicating as much as you can to maybe it's one of your partners, or maybe you're connecting to saying somebody that you respect in business, or somebody that you respect in life, or somebody that you want to connect with. Going the extra mile, communicating and saying, this is what happened. This is what I'd like to happen, or this is my desires, and so on and so forth. And being able to communicate that clearly to somebody, and that somebody else to receive that communication. That's a skill. Once again, it's a skill that's created over time, right? So your consistency in delivering the value that you have as an individual, whatever those may be, right? You pick, what I'm saying, your third, your second, your first, values, and you can operate and create from there, right? So I recommend for anybody that wants to build a brand, first and foremost, locate an ideal set of words that describe your values, right? Faith, what I'm saying, could be another value, what I'm saying, that I live off of. These are several of the many values that I have, what I'm saying, but you can go through faith, you can go persistence, you can go through, what was the first one I said? Remember? I don't remember. But you know what I'm saying? No, it wasn't courage. Discipline. Discipline, faith, and persistence, right? With those three values, what I'm saying, you can say that, or I can say, I can look back on my storyline, I can connect the dots, right? I can say, like, yo, this is how I apply my discipline, this is how I apply my faith, and this is how I apply my persistence, right? The ability to continuously show up and just stream live here, what I'm saying, on ICTV. It's a persistence, right? It requires faith for you to show up continuously over and over and over again, regardless of, the reception, regardless of, what I'm saying, the obstacles of not wanting to do it and not feeling like it, so on and so forth, or being tired or whatever, like whatever my excuses may be, they don't matter because I have the value of persistence. I have the value of discipline. I have the value of faith. Those three values in itself are enough for my story, what I'm saying, to truly I can grow a new brand. I can grow an ideal based off of those three values. You know what I'm saying? I can continuously, build off of those and grow from there. You know what I'm saying? So those are three values of mine that I would encourage everybody to explore for themselves. To see like, what are my values? What are your 3 core values to who you are as a brand? Because whether you realize or not, excuse me, whether you realize it or not, there are people that recognize you based off of the values that you have right now, right? There are people that treat you according to the values that you have right now. And those values, what I'm saying, whether you're aware of them or not, are a testament to who you are or how you're received as a character in this life, right? So if you are aware of these three values, once again, you're giving yourself a step forward, right? You're giving yourself an advantage in life. You're identifying what your advantage is, right? Most people struggle in life because they just aren't aware of their own values. They don't know what value they have when it comes to being in comparison to somebody else, or knowing their own storyline. Like all of us have a world of value. Now, one of my favorite phrases, and I've been saying it for years, is knowledge of self is knowledge of wealth. Why do I say that? Well, because the more that you know about you, the more that you know what value you have for the rest of the world, right? Especially when you know how to correlate to the rest of the world, right? So if I know that I have a Gemini moon, you know what I'm saying, and I can know that I can connect to somebody that's a Gemini, quote unquote, on a different level as opposed to somebody that has a Scorpio or Aquarius or Leo moon. I'm gonna have a different kind of co-relationship with that. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to me not knowing that. Like if I don't know that about myself, and I just be like, man, there's certain people that I just connect with. And I don't know why I connect with them. Well, one of those aspects can be my, that one aspect of me, that one characteristic of me. So when I say knowledge of self, when you know what it is that you know about you, like you are, maybe this sign, or maybe you have this aspect about you. You just know these things about you. Like you are aware of these values in yourself. And when it comes to relating to somebody else, you know what value you have to offer somebody else in the same manner, right? So that's where the phrase knowledge of self is knowledge of wealth comes from, right? So with all that being said, man, that's what I want to communicate tonight. You know what I'm saying? Essentially that your brand is identified by the storyline that you have, by the values that you are constantly representing and putting on a consistent basis, right? And being able to uh, tell a story, right, that backs up, you know what I'm saying, you as a brand, right, identifies your core values, your core beliefs. Um, and once again, it may not be for you, but it may be a brand that you want to create. So say that you want to create a brand on transformation, you know what I'm saying, which is what I'm working on in a manner. If I want to create a brand around transformation, okay, what are the values of and specifics of transformation that I can really, kind of milk or I'm saying, learn how to piece together, fit the right pieces together, the right puzzle, if you will, put that together, um, to where I can really build the foundation of this, this great aspect of transformation. You know what I'm saying? Like I have a transformation program. What are some of the aspects of that? Well, of course, consistency, discipline, and dedication. You know what I'm saying? Or some aspects I could automatically, associate. The name of my program is subject to change, but it has been the Daily Beast. You know what I'm saying? And that is because we started off with the foundation, knowing that it's what you do every single day that helps you to transform yourself, right? And so that's why it's in the name, the Daily Beast, right? And so that's just one aspect of that business or that brand. So whatever that may be for yourself, right? If I'm a musician, or if I'm a entrepreneur or manager or whatever the case may be, I can identify these values, and these values can be a testament to who I am creating or what it is that I'm creating as a brand or a business. You know what I'm saying? So it's a long-winded, kind of explanation. Hopefully it makes sense, you know what I'm saying, to everybody in the audience and whatnot. As always, man, it's a pleasure to come in here and tap in. From this moment, we're going to do a meditative moment. All right, so we'll take the next 5 minutes here and essentially tap into the world within. This is a practice that's unique to the Master's Table. So as you locate yourself wherever it is that you are, whatever it is that you're about right now, let's go ahead and just tap into the world within so you begin to close your eyes. And just send yourself, start to close out yourself, close your awareness, right, to the outside world, and start to tap into the awareness of the world within. Taking a deep breath in through the nose, breathe in deep. Feel the lungs and let it relax. Overemphasize the exhale, breathing in through the nose. Becoming aware of your inner experience. Nothing else is going on outside, let it out. Take another deep breath in through the nose. Feel the belly and then feel the lungs. Feel the air go inside your body and let it out. Relax and leave deep. Enjoy your inner space. Nobody else has access to this place. Tap in. Take another deep breath in. This time hold it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Last one, best one, breathe in. And let it out. The most relaxed you've been today is this moment right here, right now. Tap into the world within. Whatever this is you create on the inside, nobody else has access to. Enjoy your inner space. Enjoy the next 3 minutes of peace. You tap into the world within. come to the final 20 seconds of this exercise. Take your time as you wake yourself up to your external world again. Take some time to appreciate your inner space. It's the place where only you have access to. Nobody else has access to your inner temple. Use this place consciously as you move forward. Begin to wake yourself up again to your external world. Slowly open your eyes, wiggle your toes, your fingers, your body start to move. There's nothing like having a process or a taking time, right, to enjoy your inner space, your inner place of creation. Ultimately, nobody else has access to your what's going on inside of you. You know what I'm saying? So what you create is unique to you, and you use that as you move forward in life, and everything will begin to change. You know what I'm saying? Follow everything follows your lead. Everything follows, where you choose to lead your life, right? So use this inner space to create what it is that you want to see outside, right? And everything that we see on the outside is a manifestation of what's going on inside of ourselves. All right. This is the one and only Master Mycellf. As always, it's a pleasure and honor to come in here, tap in with y'all. This is another broadcast from IMC Base 5. This is the Master's Table. I am the one and only Master Mycellf. What we say in IMC Nation is be the best and fuck the rest. What I say is knowledge of self is knowledge of will. It's the one and only.